This is in response to Dr. Shmuel Asher's take on flat Earth. The things that he says on the topic of flat Earth in this show called the Triunity series with Randy Moggins on his podcast called Off Planet, the Off Planet Radio Show podcast. You can find it easily on Google. So I'm just going to go ahead and read my comment, and this should give you a fairly accurate idea of where I stand on the topic of flat Earth. So my name is, one of my Google names is Buffy La Tour de Vampire, and I left this comment about 9 months ago when I first heard this little podcast. And you can find a lot of inconsistencies in the things he says in a lot of the podcasts that he speaks in. Dr. Shmuel Asher and Randy Moggins. One sort of sets them up and the other one knocks them down, you know? I think that they are part of a network, actually, of people who are doing this on purpose. So let me go ahead and read my comment. This is beyond stupid. The reason why your airplane and or helicopter has no trouble touching down on a spinning globe is because it is inside of Earth's atmosphere, which also spins with the Earth. And yes, the Earth is a round globe. One way of knowing this is by your own admission, Mr. Asher. As above, so below. I've heard you say that several times in these video talks. Well, the sun is round, the moon is round, water droplets form round globes, even microscopic white blood cells in your own body are round globes. That's assuming you're human, of course, Mr. Asher. Monocytes are globes, lymphocytes are globes. A whole slew of things found in your body are quite globular. Most fruits and berries that grow from the earth are globe-shaped. Apples, oranges, grapes, blueberries, watermelons, pumpkins, peas, pomegranates, wild strawberries, coconuts, tomatoes, onions, cherries, peaches, plums, apricots, kiwis, olives, grapefruits, potatoes, lemons, limes, honeydew, melons, and I'm sure there are more, but I don't have time to waste listing all of them. Lots of eggs are globes too, like fish eggs, reptile eggs, human female eggs, and ovaries. Growing embryos are globes. Didn't your kid ever play at blowing soap bubbles in the air? Do those soap bubbles come out as flat squares or discs? No. They naturally take the most self-sufficient and perfect form they can take in this existence. Round globes. And the idea of Earth being round goes back way farther than 500 years. There are even cave paintings found around the Earth, like in Cuba, depicting existence as being circles within circles within circles. You can't seriously be a doctor, Mr. Asher. Who the fuck gave you a degree? You jump back and forth between telling people to do their own research and then to not bother doing research and just listen to you because you know the truth. And I hear you dropping little hints here and there in these videos that you think you know more than everyone and that you're probably a prophet or even the Messiah or whatever. I think you're just another misinformation agent trying to confuse people and an egomaniacal jackass. Here's a very convincing YouTube video that shows people sending an iPhone attached to a balloon up into the atmosphere, and you can quite clearly see that the Earth is a round globe. And then there I provide a link. Then there's also Foucault's pendulum experiment that shows us the Earth is spinning, which I'm sure even your child can figure out. Well, not spinning, it's revolving, but you know what I'm saying. People misword things all the time. And then there's a link that I provided for that. And here are a couple of videos showing experiments that prove the Coriolis effect, which is a part of what causes the atmosphere to spin along with the Earth. Although the upper atmosphere spins faster because it's not as strongly attached to the planet. We've also observed evidence that Venus's atmosphere spins along with its own planet. This one is from the Encyclopedia Britannica site. So there's another link that I provided for my side of this argument. Remind me of what your doctorate is in again, Mr. Asher, because at this point, I don't feel comfortable calling you doctor. By the way, guys, pay attention to how he says certain things. It's like he's not outright lying exactly, but he's saying or implying things in a very roundabout way, implications that are ultimately incorrect. That's how these misinformation or confusion agents work. They say things in very particular ways. They look for loopholes in your questions that they can take advantage of. They also like to use the high school cool guy tactic of making something sound stupid, childish, uncool, or foolish in a very forceful and belittling cool kid kind of manner. Like when he says, quote, my 8-year-old son could figure that out, unquote. Right there, he's now making the viewer feel like if they've ever believed that the earth was a round globe that was spinning, and that the atmosphere was spinning with it, then you, the viewer, must be dumber than a child. And note what he keeps saying, essentially, quote, all I say to people is that the earth isn't spinning, so how can the planet be round, unquote. Well, he's kind of right. The earth isn't spinning so much as it is actually revolving around an axis. That's the trick. He gives you a little piece of misleading truth and lets you infer your own misconceptions. So now you're walking around thinking that the earth is flat and not spinning, revolving. But he hasn't actually lied to you at all. So now his quote-unquote record, quote record, unquote, is still clean and you're confused and that much more likely to make a mistake that will help unmake humanity. These people are tricky. And from what he's been saying in these videos, it sounds to me like he's already started trying to amass a cult following. You know how I know that you're really full of shit, Dr. Asher? Because you keep saying God the Father. And if you really did your research and thought about the scriptures and facts of life with deductive reasoning skills, then you would know that it's actually Goddess the Mother. I'm not even pagan. I'm monotheist. But it all started with a she, not a he. He is her fallen son, Archon. When you say God the Father, you are talking about the devil, or the one that first broke from the highest oversoul creator deity, whatever you want to call it. It's basically the Norman Bates syndrome, which most of you dudes seem to display on some level. You see this in the difference between X chromosome and Y chromosome and mitochondrial DNA. The X chromosome and the Y chromosome and the mitochondrial DNA. Mitochondrial DNA of women today is the same as their oldest female ancestors. The X chromosome stays intact over time, but the Y chromosome degenerates a little more with each passing generation. Like making a copy of a copy of a copy. Which would you say is the chromosome that represents the first deity? The one that stays constant over generations, or the one that slowly deteriorates? XX is female, XY is male. It's also seen in how male fetuses develop. All fetuses start off as females, and only a few weeks into the pregnancy does the Y chromosome cause the androgen levels to build up enough in the fetus to cause it to start developing male genitalia. As above, so below. Men are not the opposite of women. They are more like an exaggerated aspect of women. The highest God embodies all things, and so do women. If that were true of men, then you would have uteruses. We have ovaries to match your testes. We have a clitoris to match your phallus. We have a uterus, and you have, nothing. You're lacking in knowledge, lacking in sense, lacking in empathy, lacking in wisdom, just coming up short all the way around. Also, if you really cared about what was best for others and about helping them get out of the soul trap, then you would just be spreading that information for free like wildfire, not going around saying, buy my book, you have to buy my book if you want to know the truth. Don't listen to this creep, guys. Mr. Asher, congratulations. You've just earned yourself a post in my blog and possibly a chapter in the book that will be based on it. You're a fraud, Shmuel Asher. I'll let you know when they're both released. One last thing, here's a video explaining the difference between spinning and revolving. And then there is one last link there that I provided for my end of the argument. I'd say I do a far better job of defending the fact that the earth is around globe in just a few minutes with my long comment here than he did in, what was it like a 2-hour video, and he speaks more on it in other videos. So this is in response again to Dr. Shmuel Asher talking about flat earth and misleading people that flat earth is real and that the earth is not a globe, with tricky wording, essentially. And I do think that he is colluding with Randy Moggins and several others as part of some kind of a network as to why they're doing this. I think that they have a few reasons. I think that there is a belief system that they have that's sort of backing them up, but they surely have other reasons as human beings or people, upright, walking, talking, sentient creatures, typically do for the things that they engage in, the actions that they commit. All right, I'm going to stop prattling on. I'm trying to keep this short. So yes, please, I urge you, in the description, I'm going to put a link to this video that I'm talking about, that I'm commenting on with Dr. Shmuel Asher and Randy Moggins. And I'm also going to put a link to the initial video I made about this, which is a bit less official and a bit more just me like ranting about the idiocy, which I think is a bit funnier, but gotta reach all the different audiences out there. So this is meant to be a bit more of an official video, and so that's even though there were some curse words, I'm assuming that adults are listening to this, not children. And please do feel free to go listen to this entire podcast yourself and listen to it with a skeptical mind, an analytical mind that does not just passively accept everything being said to you, and pick it apart for its inconsistencies and how does it match up with science. And please feel free to go ahead and if you go to new comments for this video and you go to newest, mine is not that far down, just a few comments down. It's like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like the 6th comment down, and that might change if they pour on a bunch of comments soon. I don't know, but Buffy Le Tour de Vampire, my comments up there, and so you can find these links also to other videos on YouTube that show you things that are just really irrefutable evidence. I would say irrefutable. I would say it's irrefutable when you send a camera up into the atmosphere on a balloon and it just shows you, oh, look at the curvature of the earth, dum-dums. I'd say it's irrefutable evidence, a lot of it, right down to showing you that there's a difference between revolving, rotating, and spinning. So that's how you can technically say that the earth isn't spinning, because it's not. Technically, it's revolving. So yes, please do join in the effort, join in the cause, support the cause. Give it your time, give it your focus. These people are dangerous. If you think it's not dangerous to amass cult followings and to mislead them into things like thinking that the earth is flat, then you're not thinking enough about what the kinds of effects that even one person can have, the ripple effects even one person can have on all of society, their actions or even their inaction. So please do take this seriously, guys, people. Decent, reasonable people out there, please take this seriously enough to do something about it. I'm only one person. He's one of many suspects that I have that I'm investigating for a number of things, one of which is child trafficking and child abuse. He's a bit lower on my list. I need people to step in here and start picking up some suspects for me and start looking at them with seriousness. So, all right, yeah, I'm going to end this video. Please do look into this yourselves. It's worth looking into. It's more interesting, it's more fun, it's more meaningful than playing video games, guys. Dudes.